I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, January 22nd, brought to you in part by Zactran. Stress opens a gate to bovine respiratory disease. Slam it shut with Zactran. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com or visit with your BI representative. Renewed energy in the cattle market on Thursday. We don't normally see your fat cattle start out, kind of dip down, and then come back late in the week, but we've seen so much positive on your futures markets here. The funds came in on Thursday and boosted up your futures markets there, and it's impressive how well your futures are reacting, even though we're seeing higher input costs, especially on feed and also on fuel. And now that we're looking at higher interest rates and things with the change of administration, it's very impressive how your futures have reacted to that. We're looking at the cattle on feed report coming on Friday here at 2 o'clock Central, and I think we have an opportunity to have a bullish cattle on feed report. The last several cattle on feed reports that come out with, they've painted that picture so rosy on the expectations of it that we don't have an opportunity to be bullish. But our January 1st inventories, cattle on feed, are at 99.5. I think we can hit that. Our placements at 97.1. We could come in below that. It's not that we didn't have big runs in December. It's just the fact that we've had lighter runs of feeder cattle, calves, and the like all through the fall here and through the winter so far, and we could come in under that compared to a year ago. Marketings are looking pretty good at 100.6% at the same time a year ago. Look at some of the things that come out with the change of administration on Wednesday there. You would have thought that your oil would have been up the limit, but it wasn't. So that's a positive too, because President Biden has halted production on the Keystone Pipeline, and most of us were expecting oil to be up the limit and soon to be showing at the pumps, but we didn't see that quite yet. Now we may see that going on forward, but just a lot of things. He's trying to undo everything that Trump did for us in the 4 years he was there. One of the things that I thought was kind of a chuckle there is they've mandated that folks wear masks when they're on their BLM ground, on their government lands out there. So when you're on those vast thousands of acres of land, you're out there checking your cattle or whatever, sure need to have your mask on and protect yourself from the COVID. But let's look at the futures market on Thursday. Look at the board for February live cattle, up 75 cents, closing at 114.10. April up $1.07 at 119.95, right up there at 120. That's where we've been hoping that thing was going to get. It was there before, it dipped down, it's come back. I tell you what, pretty good opportunity to hedge cattle there. You didn't get a hedge before, but 119.95, close to 120. We feel like that's a healthy spot for our April live cattle futures. Going on out from there, we was up 2 cents to up 97, so all positives on your live cattle futures. Feeder cattle, January, which is getting close to have to meet up with that CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index, but it was up 57 cents at 135.87. That's pretty smoky right there on an 800-pound steer. How about March? Up 162 at 139.15. Going out from there, and they were steady to up $1.25. So that's all positives on your cattle futures right there. Look at your fat cattle trade. We've seen trickles of trade come on through here through the week, but on Thursday, Iowa had about 3,100 head scattered out on your live sales from 1.6 to 110, heavy on the 110. That's pretty good for your Iowegians. How about your dress sales of steers and heifers there in Iowa from 169 to heavy on the 173. Nebraska, 11,400 head. They're still a little bit light on that. They're going to have to sell some more cattle on Friday because they haven't met their quota on that. But live steers and heifers, 106 to mostly all 109. Yeah, it wasn't the 110 we saw in Iowa there, but heavy on the 109, that's not too bad. Dress sales, and that's what they saw most of, was 171 to mostly all 173. That's a little bit cheaper than last week, but not terrible. Kansas, about 1,700 heads all. They sold the bulk of their cattle on Wednesday, but still selling cattle at 110 and 173 on a few dress sales north of I-70 there. Texas didn't have any sales confirmed on there, but I did see some sales. Now, the absolute best cattle at walk on Wednesday brought $1.11. On Friday, I saw some sales of some odd mixed cattle and Mexican cattle selling at 110. Now, you guys get really particular when you're buying those feeder cattle. It should be disheartening to kind of see your Mexican cattle selling a buck off of your best cattle at walk. But, you might want to think about that whenever you're putting cattle on feed. Box beef cutout values, they just continue to get higher. They've gotten higher almost every day since we've come through the holidays, and they're getting those wholesale beef prices back up there where they want them. Choice cuts on Thursday afternoon, $221.20 up $229. Selects up $3 even at $210.28. Look at your slaughter, right on par with a week ago, but still falling off from the same time a year ago. 469,000 through Thursday. That's exactly the same as the same time a week ago. Compared to a year ago, it was down 20,000. But our Saturdays have been really good, and we're hoping for another big Saturday, and maybe we can catch up some of that ground. Your actual slaughter came in for the week ending January the 9th. That's kind of depressing. Average dressed steer weights at 923 pounds. That's up 3 pounds. Now, we weren't expecting that. We thought they were going to fall off hard. They gained back on the last report, which was coming out of the holidays. So we thought maybe that was just a mix-up with what they were selling, killing during the holidays. But coming back with that first full week of the new year, 923 pounds, up 3 pounds from there. So still some heavy cattle out there, and that's kind of a downer there. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction late on Thursday at 134.19. That's up 98 cents late in the week, guys. We've been gaining ground the last 2 days. We thought maybe we was on the downturn, but they're propping those feeder cattle prices up on the cash market. Look at your big sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock, Salina, Kansas, 4,200 head. Feeder steers $2 to $8 higher. Now, some of the lighter weight calves there were lower, but the bulk of your sales were $2 to $8 higher on your steers. Feeder heifers steady to as much as $8 higher. There was a little bit difference in that on some different particular weights, but for the most part, your bigger feeding calves and your lighter feeder cattle there selling as much as $8 higher. That's a pretty good market in Salina, Kansas. Ogallala Livestock Auction, Ogallala, Nebraska, 7,500 head. All you could say about it was sharply higher. That's an awful good market, sharply higher. They had a lot of NHTC cattle on there, had some replacement quality heifers. Likely that's what helped the market, but how about 91 head, 507-pound steers in Ogallala, bringing $182.50. That's a big price, guys. Look at some of your individual quotes that happened on Thursday. Going to give some love to a market that's a DV auction customer there. Been broadcasting with us for several months here, but I don't believe I've talked about them, but they had an impressive quote. Mid-Missouri Stockyards. They call it Phillipsburg, Missouri, but it's actually Lebanon. It's close there, but I call it Lebanon because being from Missouri, I know where it sits. But mixed steers, 212 head in one whack. Mid-Missouri Stockyards there. 212 steers weighed 718 at $144. That's South Central Missouri. That's a pretty good quote, guys. At a sale barn that I was at on Thursday helping auctioneer there, Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nebraska. They had a good sale there. Well over 5,000 head on offer. Had a lot of good fancy steers. I tell you what, these guys have had a little bit of moisture in California. They're expecting a storm coming in here next week, and they were hot. I tell you what, the guys come in on lighter weight calves, steers, and heifers both. Of course, some of the bigger, heavier feeding type cattle was sure off the market from the Midwest, but we're a long ways from the 5-area feeding region, a long ways from the corn. But on your calves, they sold really well. But I tell you what, they had a lot of those Red Angus cattle there. Mostly all steers, because you just don't see Red Angus heifers for sale very often because everybody has got such a demand for replacement quality Red Angus heifers there. But we did have one big long string of Red Angus replacement quality heifers there, 84 head of them. Now they were lighter, 543 pounds. They were the lighter end of some replacements that the owner there kept there, but 84 head, 543 pounds. Red Angus replacement quality heifers bring $160. That's a big quote for Nevada. But your best quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday, and your Zach Tran top quote for the day, come out of Ogallala Livestock Auction, Ogallala, Nebraska. 57 head, 863-pound big feeding steers at $142.75. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.